Welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. Planning to photograph the upcoming total solar eclipse? It's probably more involved than you think. Leanne spoke with two area professionals to get tips on how to capture the best images and how to keep your eyes safe when you're not behind the camera.
Matt, I'm here with Mike Curtis. He's the lead post photographer here at Fort Leonard Wood. Mike is a professional. What are your recommendations in terms of equipment and technique for those of us that are getting ready to photograph the upcoming solar event?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about camera safety because your camera is real sensitive when it comes to light. I know that if you get on the internet, people tell you you have to have a filter and all that. That's true if you're pointing your camera directly towards the sun. I don't have a filter, so I'm not going to do that. Oh. I'm going to take a landscape. I know a lot of people are going to just focus on the sun, and those are going to be neat pictures. But I think maybe you might be missing something, like the effect that the shadows have on a landscape, or maybe looking at people's expressions. What once in a lifetime event, what that's like for them. One thing I recommend, probably the most important thing, is to what I call scout the area first. Because a lot of people are going to wait till the last minute and then they're going to try to set up their camera, and then before they know it, it's going to be over. So I'm going up the day before and scouting the area. What I'll do is I'll set up the camera and I'll put my camera in manual mode. And I'll take several shots. Now there are a lot of pro cameras will do a thing called bracketing. That's where you take one that's darker and one that's brighter and one that's right in the middle. And I'll do several of those. This way, I'll get one that's perfect. So if your camera goes to bracketing, I would suggest setting your camera up to bracketing.
It was brought to my attention, and I didn't even think of this before, and I know a lot of our viewers may not, but that their iPhone or their cell phone have the automatic aperture, and that is probably not a good thing in this case.
It's kind of like in the video world where it adjusts for light. Well, if that happens and you take a picture in the darkest part of the eclipse, it's going to look like daylight. That's not what you want. You want that dramatic dark look. So I set my aperture, I pick it at f8.
Some people are thinking about time lapse or speed up video, and I know that can produce some really neat effects. How would you say is the best way to go about doing that?
I'll set up the camera, and 30 minutes before the eclipse hits total darkness, I'll start that camera and I'll take a picture every 5 seconds. I put that on full manual because I do want it to get real dark. So I'll have all those exposures, and then later I'll put that speeded up, and it'll be like a 5-second video look of a time lapse.
I'm talking with Dr. David Falkenhayn. He's an optometrist here at the Falkenhayn Eye Group in Rolla. What is the recommendation of the American Optometric Association when it comes to viewing the total solar eclipse?
If you'd like to view the total solar eclipse, you really don't need protection during totality, which is the 1 or 2 minutes when it's completely covered. Otherwise, you need glasses certified with the ISO indicator 12312. That is should be printed somewhere on the glasses. And you have to be careful, there's some counterfeit ones out there. So watch the American Optometric Association and the American Astronomical Association. On their websites, they'll have lists of approved providers of these glasses. Also, you can use welder masks that are darker than 12. They have to be 12 or darker.
Okay. Now, why is this important in terms of eye care? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, what we're afraid of is solar retinopathy. The sun is actually so bright that it will actually burn your retina, cause retinal damage, and it can be permanent, so we have to be careful.
Wow. How do parents protect their small children or their babies that might be, running around and taking the glasses off and this sort of thing?
Yeah, you got to be careful with kids. They're actually more susceptible to damage because their eyes are clear. There's no cataracts or anything to block the light. So we worry about the kids. If you're out there with kids, pay really close attention to them. Make sure they're using their glasses when they're looking at the eclipse.
So we've been talking about photographing the solar eclipse. What if you're looking through a camera? Does that make a difference in terms of what kind of glasses or protection that you need for your eyes?
Yes, looking at a solar eclipse through a camera is a big no-no, particularly through an eye finder. That's going to magnify the light even further and cause more damage more quickly. Now, taking a picture with your cell phone or something is probably not a big deal, as long as you're not looking at the eclipse once again.
August 21st, the way I understand it, will be the most photographed event in history. Just being there is just going to be overwhelming. So don't get all wrapped up in getting the wall hanger. Just enjoy the moment.
Matt, send it back to you.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported a near drowning at Fugitive Beach on August 8th. 19-year-old David Jackson of St. Louis was swimming when he submerged and did not resurface. A lifeguard pulled Jackson from the water, and he was immediately transported to the hospital. No other details have been released. We hope to have more on this next week. The Phelps County Sheriff's Department issued a statement late Monday that a prisoner had escaped and was at large. At around 8 p.m. on August 7th, Michael Schultz, an inmate in the Phelps County Jail, was working outside the jail when he managed to escape by way of a white pickup truck. Anyone with information on Schultz's whereabouts is encouraged to contact local law enforcement. The Lebanon Truck Show and Shine was in the area this week, held at the First Assembly Church as a way for locals to get acquainted with drivers who were set to compete in the Bandit League semi-truck race at I-44 Speedway. Unfortunately, that race was rained out, but that didn't stop our Luke Keene from admiring the big rigs.
My name is Carson Elliott. I'm from here in Lebanon, Missouri, and this is the Lebanon, Missouri Truck Show and Shine. This is our first annual event, first year we're doing it because the Bandit Big Rig Series is going to be at Lebanon I-44 Speedway tonight. Right now we've got 15 trucks and we're hoping for about 30 today. The trucks are still coming in right now. The racing circuit is the Bandit Big Rig Series, and it's a circuit out of Wisconsin that races semi-trucks on different tracks around the country. It's a circuit that comes through, and usually they're on the East Coast and up north, so this is like the farthest west they come. So. Whenever they're on the track tonight, they're going to be doing a 25-lap main, and they'll have two other qualifying races for their positions where they're going to be racing out in the main race. Right now we've got 6 different trophies we're giving out. 3 of them are going to be picked by the drivers, and 2 are going to be picked by the public. We've got a People's Choice, a Kid's Choice, a Best Combo, a Best Bobtail, and a Best Antique.
A woman from Cuba is behind bars and accused of robbing a home in Bourbon. 33-year-old Diana Wilder was arrested on July 24th after allegedly breaking into a residence in the 400 block of Pine Street, where police say she stole a leaf blower, hedge trimmers, a video game console, and several firearms. She has been charged with second-degree burglary and felony theft. Her bond is set at $35,000. A Lebanon man is dead following a fatal motorcycle crash near Buffalo. 53-year-old Michael Lane was driving his motorcycle on Highway 32 when he apparently failed to negotiate a curve. The bike went off the road and impacted a barbed wire fence, causing the vehicle to flip and eject its rider. Lane was declared dead at the scene by the Dallas County coroner. Mama Fest took place in Rolla August 5th, bringing together 4 area organizations to promote and support mothers of young children. A breastfeeding walk was held in conjunction with the event. Leanne Mentink talked with organizers to learn more.
This is our second annual breastfeeding support walk that we have here at Columbia College. It was put on by the Phelps Marys County Health Department. Our purpose here is to let the community know that we do support breastfeeding. It's just not about the mom and the baby, it's about the community as well. There's a lot of benefits for breastfeeding for the baby. There's benefits for the mom. When we look at the community, there's less waste as far as bottles, empty formula cans. Also, there's reduced health costs involved too. The best thing that this community can do to support breastfeeding mom is be supportive of her where she may be breastfeeding, whether it's open in a grocery store or a doctor's office, or maybe just on a parkside bench. The Phelps-Marys County Health Department does provide services, and one of the programs we do is the WIC program. It does support breastfeeding. That's one thing we try to encourage women to do. We offer them a breastfeeding peer counselor. They can work with them when they come into their appointments. Optional things that we provide to would be a supplement food package for women who breastfeed. They definitely do need nutrition, as well as a woman who does not breastfeed their babies. We're there to help them to provide the information they need to do something that they would like to do for their baby.
I'm Summer Forth Lancaster with Summer Birth Services, along with La Leche League of Rolla, the Phelps-Marys Health Department, and Columbia College. This is our 6th annual Mama Fest. We started it 6 years ago. Several friends and I were working with the Rolla Birth Network, and we wanted to have some kind of an event that was geared really towards celebrating women and celebrating mothers, and that would be friendly toward having their children there, but would be not so much of an expo where you just came and you got your freebies and you left, but more like, let's come and hang out, have a few drinks, have a snack. We try to make sure that there are activities. And since that time, we've kind of kept that same format basically, and it's grown, and many of the vendors that we have here today are vendors who have been with us since the beginning. One of the ways that the community can support mothers and children is give that mom in the grocery store a smile. When you see her kid melting down, if you see somebody struggling to nurse their baby, or maybe they're trying to pull that bottle out of their diaper bag, help them. It's a very small task of kindness, but it ripples outward. The other way that you can really help support mothers and women in your community is look for the resources that are there. If you are no longer in that very young baby parenting stage, how can you help? Can you offer to watch someone's children? Can you volunteer at a place like Women's Space Rolla or Guiding Star, so that other young mothers can have the opportunity to meet with people with their children and have some help with that. So really see what the resources are out there and take the time to volunteer. If you don't have time to volunteer, donate money to your favorite resource. Really put that money, time, and energy back into the community.
Thanks to a partnership between the West Plains R7 School District and several local churches, some kids returning to class this fall will receive free school supplies, clothes, and shoes. The Bridges program accepts charitable donations from businesses, churches, and civic groups to help the less fortunate in the community. Director Cindy Wright estimated that as many as 400 children were served by the program, and 700 backpacks filled with supplies were given out to those who attended. Football is kicking off in all forms. If you're ready to take a step up from couch quarterback, West Plains flag football might be for you. Dylan Lorenzen tells us more.
Thanks, Matt. I'm here at the Jimmy Carroll Sports Complex with Bryn Trent. Bryn, thank you for taking some time out of your day. What exactly do you do here?
I'm the assistant sports coordinator for the city of West Plains, and I help coordinate youth and adult City League sports.
Now, I understand flag football's coming around. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's about?
That'll be a 5-on-5 flag football league. We play every Saturday at Carmichael Field. You get 6 games at a tournament, all for $200, so it's a great deal.
All right. Now, do you have any other sports coming up this fall aside from football?
Oh, yeah, we got adult and youth volleyball, and that'll end on the 25th, so if you have any teams, come in and sign them up.
So for our viewers at home that may want to get more information, where should they be going?
Our address is 540 East Olden Street. Our offices are located here, and we're the big blue building across from the high school, and our website is westplainsparksandrec.com.
All right, Bryn, thanks for taking some time out of your day, and with that, back to you, Matt.
Speaking of football, our Price Chopper Game of the Week returns on August 18th with what I like to call the Fidelity 6 Classic, the traditional Week 1 matchup between Rolla and Lebanon. Lebanon hosts this year, so that's where we'll be. Take a look at our complete Game of the Week production schedule. That's all for now. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'm Matt Wacker, and I will see you next time. The weekly recap is brought to you by Price Chopper, Cooking from Scratch, the Travers Automotive Group, the UPS Store of Rolla, Bayer Dodge in West Plains, Falcon Flooring, Hanging by a Thread, and Tailor Your Insurance.